Good evening, I'm Norman Robinson. You know, for some, spring and summer are considered the best times to purchase or sell homes. According to an article published in New Home Source, this is the prime time to get into a new home. Tonight, we will discuss the real estate process with some local professionals in our area to find out what opportunities are available to prospective home buyers and if this really is a prime time to purchase a home. Informative show coming your way when we return.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Miss Triscelyn Landor is an independent realtor qualified with the Southern Mortgage Assistance Program, and tonight she is here to tell us about some specific grant programs and home ownership vouchers that may help individuals in our community purchase their first home. Welcome, Miss Landor.
Thank you so much. Such an honor to be
Hey,
here.
listen, we're excited to have you, especially vouchers for home ownership. I never heard of such.
In our city, in our state, people are so equipped with opportunities for home ownership like never before. We hear a lot of things saying we're pushing people in certain areas, and that's not true. There are so many programs that give grants that you do not have to pay back ever for down payment assistance, closing costs, all of the prepaids, the things that have disarmed many people from becoming homeowners.
Wow. Now that is exciting. That's the kind of stuff we like to hear.
Yes, and I'm here to present it because it's overwhelming, the number of opportunities that are available right now.
Give me an example of some of the opportunities that are available.
My most recent closing was a rural development property. And when you think rural development, you're thinking cows and horses and way out there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's right off of 12 in Slidell. It's about a 20-minute ride. But this home was 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 2,500 square feet. My client put down no money at all. As a matter of fact, she received $1,000 back at the closing.
Really?
And she wanted to give me $10,000 from her 401k. I said, hold on to it. I think you will be surprised at what's going to happen on the day that you close. So this home was absolutely beautiful. An industrial size refrigerator, granite countertops, hardwood floors, just beautiful home. And she never thought, she rented for 18 years. A single parent, never thought that she could qualify for a home.
Wow. How did you find this?
I do a lot of research. I previously, practiced law, so I'm a research person.
Okay.
So I did the research, and I said rural development, and it's 100% financing. You do not put a down payment down at all, nothing. The financing covers 100% of what the purchase price of the home is. So I looked into it, and I figured my client, she came to me already pre-approved from her credit union, which would require her to have about $10,000 in closing costs. So she said, I'll just withdraw it from my 401k because I really want to become a homeowner. And I said, according to this, you do not need a down payment at all. And that's how we closed on this absolutely gorgeous house with a beautiful backyard, just 2-story garage, just everything that she dreamed of, that she thought would not be available to her.
So we need to send our viewers to you. And
I have a lot of financing options. Even now, whether you want to believe it or not, from my clients who are doctors, who come in who do not need any assistance at all, or I have people on Section 8 who can use their Section 8 voucher to purchase a home.
Come on. How does that work?
They have to go through a financial fitness program in order to qualify. We go over, because sometimes people have never even thought of becoming a homeowner. This is generations and generations of renters. So we make sure that they are aware of the financial responsibility for owning a home, put them through the class, and if they do the work, the result is theirs. They can become a homeowner and use the Section 8 voucher for 20 years to become a homeowner.
And you discovered this through research?
I look it up. I find ways for people who are so discouraged and just overwhelmed with the process. Because if you go into a bank, they'll pre-qualify you. But then you have to face the possibility of not being able to achieve this goal because of the closing costs, the expenses, the things that you need to get done in order to get in the home. So that's where I come in. I am a person who goes just to the ends of the earth to find out how we can make this happen for people who just otherwise it would only be a dream.
Let's find out how to get in touch with you, and then I want to do the 8 tips for home buying.
Okay.
All right. So how do people get in touch with you first?
Well, you can contact me. I'm an agent with Keller Williams LaPlace. My telephone number is 504-515-7083. Or you can find me on Facebook. I usually post when I sell homes just to encourage people to do that. And I give daily inspiration for people who just say, I just can't do it. So my quotes, that would just be enough. Even if you are a homeowner, it would just help you to move to investor mode.
Okay.
And in that capacity, I tell them, your cells eavesdrop on your thoughts. So if you sit down and think, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, it won't happen. But just on a daily basis, when I go in a grocery store, when I go to my son's school, I find teachers and people who otherwise would not think that they could do it. And we make them homeowners.
Right. So when we talk about the 8 steps towards buying a home, the first one is obviously the decision to buy, right?
You have to make the decision. Home ownership is not for everyone. But for the people who want to increase their financial status, it's for you. Because if you pay $800 every month for 30 years, you have given your landlord about $364,000, even if they never increase the rent.
Wow.
And if you purchase a home, you can turn that same money into something that's going to appreciate. Like a $150,000 home will go to about $364,000. So you have to make the decision to say, I want to do it. I teach a class called Don't Cry Over Spilled Milk. Even if you've been through a divorce, bankruptcy, all kind of financial obstacles, it's never too late. We have ways of cleaning up your credit report. I put you in a class, clean up your credit report, and the possibility is there if you do the work.
And then you talk about hiring an agent, right?
You have to hire an agent.
Obviously, you're an example of that. That's key.
You want to hire an agent because we are trained in things to look for. And you want somebody to know, just like I would never advise anyone to go to court unrepresented. You don't want to go into a serious financial obligation as buying a home without representation.
And talking about financial obligations is securing financing, right?
That's the hard part. But it doesn't have to be, because I have people who come into my home buyer seminar who do not think they're qualified, but they actually are. Their credit score is exactly where it needs to be, and you're done.
And then finding the home, right?
That is another fun part. This is where I get really excited, because people, they do not understand what is available. I'm looking at some of the areas that are being developed, like St. Bernard Parish, beautiful homes. I looked at a home today, it was $149,000, and I couldn't believe it. But you can obtain this in the note, because St. Bernard Parish is 100% financing. You don't have a down payment, and you can do this.
Wow, this is exciting stuff. Making an offer, how does that work?
Just because someone is asking $3 million for their property does not mean that you have to put in an offer for $3 million. We find out what homes have been sold for in the area, compare those houses, the size and the location, and we decide what is in the best interest of the client to put that offer in as. And if it's accepted, we move on to the process. We go to the very next step, and that's to make sure that the property is sound. You don't want to walk into a house and there's termite damage or there's leaky pipes. We want you to go into your house and be comfortable and just enjoy, you know, what you've worked so hard for.
Mm-hmm. And what about performing due diligence? What's that about?
We hire an inspector to go out. The company that I use, I call him Mr. Gadget. Because he goes into the nooks and crannies of every single thing in the home, the refrigerator, the freezer. He makes sure that the plumbing is okay, that you have running water. There's no lead in the water. There's no lead paint. We just do a thorough investigation to make sure that what you purchase is something that you will thoroughly enjoy and be comfortable in.
And lastly, the 8th tip. Protecting your investment.
People, and Hurricane Katrina, I think, was the best teacher of this. You have to protect your home. You need insurance. You need a home warranty. So people don't understand that there is homeowners insurance and there's flood insurance, which cover 2 different areas with your house. So you have to make sure that you've been paying on this house for 30 years. What happens if Katrina or one of her mean relatives comes and destroy it? Mm-hmm. You have to have something to put that house back together and make you whole.
So you make sure that each one of these items are covered, and the most important item after everything is done, the close, is getting the protection that you need in terms of the kinds of insurance necessary. An
example for me, I purchased a home and 2 weeks into me moving in, the dishwasher broke and the garbage disposal went out. So all I had to do, because I had a home warranty, is pick up the phone. I paid a small service fee and they took care of it. If a water heater breaks, that's like, could be, you know, into the thousands, maybe a couple of hundred, but into the thousands. You call the warranty company, they send someone out and it's repaired. Your homeowner's insurance will not cover that. Your flood insurance will not cover that. So you have to make sure that you have each aspect of your home protected.
Well, it's been a delight having you here, and I can't tell you how exciting this information is to have at your disposal. And I'm sure our viewers appreciate your presence as well.
I look forward to working with everybody. I want them to feel what it's like to have those keys turned over to them at a closing, and they have stepped into the American dream of home ownership.
Well, thank you again
for
being here. You're welcome. When we return, I'll sit down with the president and CEO of one of the largest real estate title companies in the New Orleans metropolitan area. More Affordable Housing Matters right after this break. Bayou Title is one of the largest real estate companies in the New Orleans metropolitan area. Joining me now is Mr. Brent Laliberte, President and CEO of Bayou Title, to tell us how they can help one achieve the goal of home ownership. Mr. Laliberte.
Mr. Robinson.
Welcome to Affordable Housing.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here.
Nice to meet you, sir. Why is the affordable housing component important for Bayou Title, Inc.?
Well, obviously, we're in the business of doing closings, which is important as a whole, but we love being able to give back to the community, try to help those that don't think the home ownership is attainable to them, try to help them achieve that. And we find that there's certain parts of town are just, people are at a kind of a generational disadvantage because they never knew anyone who owned a home, so they need information. So whatever we can do to help participate and deliver that information, it's a good feeling.
So then you are particularly interested in first-time home buyers.
Well, we love all home buyers, but yeah, but first-time home buyers, I mean, it's one of those things from a real reward factor. I mean, it's just, it's no better feeling than to help someone accomplish that because, we know that's the American dream. And like I said, so many people don't realize that it is attainable because they don't know where to get the resources. So the fact that we can help them achieve that, it's a good feeling.
Now, you say it's the American dream, and I hear a lot of people in the real estate industry say that.
Yeah.
And some people are saying that the American dream is dead. You don't believe that?
Oh, not at all, not at all. No, it's I've owned a home since probably in the early 20s. I was early 20 years old, and it's a good feeling. It's you can rent. A lot of people choose to rent, and that's not a bad thing if that's your choice. But just owning a piece of America, owning something that you can call your own and raise your family in, and ultimately pass down to your family is a pretty good feeling.
What should first-time home buyers know?
They should know that if they are interested, what they need to do, there's a lot of high-quality nonprofit organizations out there that provide a bunch of information. And we've been fortunate, since we started, and even before Bayou Title, to work with them. And so if they have an interest in pursuing it, then what they would need to do is locate one of those, and we could provide information. And it's a good educational opportunity, not just owning a home, but knowing how to go about getting into it, and then how to do all the things necessary to remain in it, too.
So what's out there for them to gain this information?
Well, there's a lot of different housing fairs that come about. Dillard University does one each year, which is quite successful. We always participate in that. But there's a lot of nonprofits, Neighborhood Development Foundation, Preservation Resource Center, a shared initiative, Family Resources, and we participate with all of them. And these are people that have dedicated, the vast majority of their lives to try to help people get into houses. So the amount of knowledge they have is just tremendous.
So these are actual classes that are being offered,
right,
to teach people,
right,
how to go about.
Correct. A lot of times, you when a first-time home buyer kind of coincides with someone getting some bond assistance. So whenever there's some public assistance that goes with it, there are requirements to be certified. So going to the classes is good, not just for the educational benefits, but also because it's a requirement if they're going to participate. And, periodically, the city has soft second programs and things like that, and whenever that happens, they need to have a certification. So it's a win-win. It's a lot of reasons to do it.
Now you hear people say in the real estate business, as you are, say soft seconds a lot. What does that mean, actually?
A soft second is basically, it's usually done through some tiered funding, whether it be the federal government to the state to the city, but basically it's to help someone to have more down payment than what they would personally have. And so it's designed to encourage home ownership. And depending upon what what areas they're buying in and what their relative income would be, it may be $20,000, maybe $50,000 at different times. It's different amounts, and basically it encourages them to buy, to live in it, and over time it's forgivable. So that's what the soft is. There's no repayment necessary, provided they remain living in the house for the requirements of what the mortgage provides for.
And these are the things that you learn about when you take these classes that are being offered.
Yeah, there are a lot of attorneys that probably don't know about them themselves, because unless you focus and concentrate on first-time home buyers, and you're probably not that familiar with it. But it's something that my wife and I opened the company up in 1999. That was probably our biggest book of business, was just helping people, and we still enjoy doing it now. But back then, that was probably a good half or 40% of our business early on.
Half or 40%?
Yeah, we were much smaller then.
Wow.
Too, it was a much smaller company then, but it's it's very enjoyable.
So you've got a long history, and therefore in association with that history, you've gained a lot of knowledge along the way.
Oh, without question. There's I hate to say it, there's probably not many title companies that would know more or have more experience than what we have. There are a lot of good title companies out there, but we pride ourselves in having done this for a long time and helping a lot of people out.
Now, in looking at the background on your company, in what way is Bayou Title associated with Neighborhood Development Foundation and the VA Hoffman Triangle? Exactly what is that?
Well, the VA Hoffman Triangle is a section area in town that NDF was provided some lots, and with the requirement that they build and try to help people that qualify, first-time home buyers, to get into some of these areas. So Neighborhood Development Foundation, Fred Johnson, who I think's been on your show before.
Yeah, he has.
He's a good friend of ours, and they do a really nice job of training the individuals to become homeowners, and then they also build some homes, which allows them to kind of get in there at reduced pricing. So it's a very good situation.
So this particular area, is this one of the, I guess, one of the hot spots for affordable housing?
Well, I think anything right now that's even remotely close to VA hospital is a hot spot. I mean, if you drive up and down Canal and anywhere it's nearby, what's happened in that area is just tremendous. So I think the good news is if a first-time home buyer can get in there, the property values are going to continue to go up very quickly.
So what are the eligibility requirements for acquiring property or acquiring a home in that particular area?
That would be, I would have to defer to the program for that. There's a lot of different, it depends on family size, how many families make up a household, and what the relative incomes would be. But I can tell you there's a lot of assistance out there. There's a lot of good people trying to do good things. So I think if someone is interested, they could reach out to Fred Johnson, and he could provide all the details on that.
So they just check with the Neighborhood Development Foundation, and they could get all the information they need in terms of how to go about gaining property or buying a home in that area.
That's correct, and really, and that's the area that they're focusing on right now. But they've been around, I think they've maybe 40 years now. Maybe it's been quite some time, and so at different times they'll have different areas that they focus on. They've done a lot of work in Central City too, and just some of the things that they've done real close to where their office is. It's just amazing how much that area has improved.
Now, when we talk about an area that being a hot spot and property values going up, how is that still an area that's attainable for somebody who perhaps needs a little help getting an affordable house?
Well, I think because a lot of time these lots have come through different organizations. Maybe it was Road Home, WLAE-TV, whatever it may be. Louisiana Land Title, excuse me. And so with that in mind, there's restrictions. The NOR properties, they dedicate so many lots for certain purposes. So that's where these nonprofits come in. Could they sell it to someone else for more? Probably so. But there's restrictions when the lots are given to them that is designed to encourage first-time home ownership. And so it kind of takes some of the profit motive out of there and just keeps more of the altruistic motives instead.
So this concern about gentrification and the salt of the earth people being driven out. So this is an effort to keep people in place,
right,
and not to push them out.
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, because in New Orleans there's so much. The values have gone up so high, so much in the last couple of years that, without these types of programs, it would be very difficult for some people that wanted to be in those areas to be able to afford those areas. So this allows that to happen.
Now, I often hear when you talk about eligibility for areas like that, and you say properties for first-time home buyers whose incomes do not exceed 120% of the median area. And what does that mean?
It's basically it's census data. It's determining whenever there's a program that comes about, they want to figure out what areas, what groups of individuals are trying to help, and so they just establish some demographics as to what the relative incomes are, and just see how people fit within that. And once again, it really it's hinged quite heavily on how many people are in the household as well. But it's a good way to keep someone from, say, you or I, that says, yeah, that sounds good, when we know that perhaps we make too much money. So it keeps the whole program in check to know that they are verifying that it is an income group that they're trying to help.
Now, are we finding that there are some areas that are more accessible for this kind of housing as opposed to areas that might not be?
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of this activity going on all throughout the city. So I mean, I wouldn't say it applies to every pocket of the city, but it probably applies to more pockets than you think. I don't think there's any effort to try to push anybody in one particular direction or area. I think they're trying to kind of scatter it out and make sure that there's opportunities throughout the city. It's
encouraging to hear you say that, because I've heard it said that, for instance, in New Orleans, that they're trying to push all of the low-income people into the New Orleans East community.
Yeah.
And you say that's not the case?
No, it's not the case. Now, in all fairness, a lot of it may get driven by supply. So depending upon where the supply of properties are, it may be disproportionate that there may be more that go out there. But to the point we just mentioned about the Hoffman Triangle and the Central City, those are areas that are they're a hotbed right now. So there's opportunities throughout. But it is, I mean, you can't sell what you don't have. So obviously supply is going to dictate some of that. But I know I've never seen any overt or conscious effort to try to direct that, to see that this be directed in any particular area. They try to make sure there's opportunities throughout the city.
All right. So again, if people are interested in this kind of housing, they should do what?
They could contact me, and I could direct them, or they can contact any of the neighborhood, the nonprofits, Neighborhood Development Foundation, Family Resources, whatever it may be. A lot of really good companies, a lot of dedicated people that have done this quite some time.
Mr. Laliberte, thank you for being here. It's been an interesting conversation with lots of information.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. And that will do it for us here tonight on Affordable Housing Matters. For more information on our guests on this show and others, please visit WLAE.com and click on the Affordable Housing Matters link. There you can get in touch with every guest we've had on our program. Also, tell us what you want to see on Affordable Housing Matters by emailing us at ahm@WLAE.com. Thank you again for joining us this evening. And as always, I'm Norman Robinson. Have a good night.